Bonsoir chers élèves, aujourd'hui nous allons essayer d'étudier un peu de grammaire en contexte et nous allons parler du passé composé. As a reminder, our unit objective is I can give a detailed description of a past trip, and our performance indicator is I can summarize where someone went, what they saw, what they did, and with whom they traveled. Which means when we are talking about went, saw, did, we are talking about past tense. Okay? Now, let's take a look at a few things. Look at the following three sentences. Jaden played football yesterday. They have visited Paris 3 times. We did tidy the bedroom. What do they have in common? Okay, of course, as you can see, the sentences have some highlighted word in yellow, okay? And I can say that's what they have in common. But when I say Jaden played football, they have visited Paris 3 times. We did tidy the bedroom. All those three yellow highlighted words, they are basically talking about the same thing. They are describing what somebody did in the past. So, all three of these English tenses can be translated by one tense in French and is called le passé composé. Le passé composé. Okay? So, all those three past tenses, played, have visited, did tidy, all those three tenses can be just translated with one tense in French and it's called le passé composé. Now, how does it work? Each of the following sentences contain an example of le passé composé tense. Let's look at it. Jaden a joué au foot hier. Ils ont visité Paris 3 fois. Nous avons rangé la chambre. Jaden a joué au foot hier. Ils ont visité Paris 3 fois. Nous avons rangé la chambre. What is the first thing you notice about these things? Look at it. A joué, ont visité, avons rangé. Look at it. So, in the past, we learn about conjugation. We talk about present tense. We talk about future tense. But what did you notice about this particular tense or the verb in the sentence, in the three sentences? So look at the first highlighted word in each sentence. A, on, avons. A, on, avons. Look at them. All right. Where have you come across this before? A, on, avons. Think about all the conjugation that we did in the past from level 1, level 2. Okay, of course, as you notice, is the auxiliary avoir. Is the auxiliary avoir conjugated in present tense. So let's say l'auxiliaire avoir, le verbe avoir. Avoir, to have. Avoir, to have. On a a, on, avons. So as a reminder to you, here's the present tense of avoir. Okay. J'ai, tu as, il a, elle a, nous avons, vous avez, ils ont, elles ont. J'ai, tu as, il a, elle a, nous avons, vous avez, ils ont et elles ont. Ça, c'est le présent du verbe avoir. Okay. Now, take a look at the second highlighted word in each sentence. Jaden a joué au foot hier. Ils ont visité Paris 3 fois. Nous avons rangé la chambre. So the first highlighted word, like as we just learned it, is the conjugation of the auxiliary avoir, l'auxiliaire avoir. Now look at the second highlighted word. Jouer, visiter, ranger. Jouer, visiter, ranger. So the second highlighted word is kind of spelled the same at the end, like jouer, visiter, ranger. They all have e accent aigu at the end. And this word is known as the past participle. The past participle, le participe passé. The past participle, the participe passé. So to form the past participle, you take the infinitive, the form of the verb you find in a dictionary as a reminder, and you do the following. All right. As a reminder, we know that we have three types of verbs in French. We have ER verb, IR verb, and IE verbs. So to form the past participle, you take the infinitive, the form of the verb that you find in the dictionary, like jouer. The infinitive will be spelled Jouer, jouer. And in English, it will mean to play. So the form of the verb that means to something, to play, to visit, visiter, to tidy up, ranger, okay, is called the infinitive. So you take the infinitive and you do the following. For ER verbs, again, when I'm talking about the passé composé, so far we are talking about regular verb, les verbes réguliers. Okay? Regular verb, which means the verb which follow a pattern. We follow a rule. Okay? Some verbs are not a part of this particular formation of the past participle, which means they are irregular. So here we're talking about regular verbs only, les verbes réguliers. Donc for ER, regular verbs, you remove the ER at the end and you change it to E accent aigu. ER at the end and you change it to E accent aigu. For IR verbs, you remove the IR and you change it to I. And for RE verbs, you remove the RE and you change it to U. Okay? So take a look at it again. We are talking about regular verb, les verbes réguliers. For ER verb, remove the ER and change it to E accent aigu. For IR verbs, remove the IR and change it to I. For RE verbs, remove the RE and change it to U. Here are some examples of the three types of verb. Change the infinitive in the past participle. Travailler, okay, will be travailler avec l'accent aigu à la fin. La prononciation, c'est la même chose. The pronunciation is the same. Okay, travailler et travailler, okay. Regarder, okay, me donne, regarder avec accent aigu à la fin. Finir me donne fini. Choisir me donne choisi. Répondre me donne répondu. Entendre me donne entendu. OK? Donc, voilà les participes passés du verbe. Participe passé du verbe. Past participles. Okay? Now, so remember, the passé composé is made up of two parts. So I will say the passé composé is a compound tense. Compound tense. It has two parts. Okay? The first part is the present tense of avoir. And the second part is the past participle of the verb you want to put into the past. Exemple, il a regardé, nous avons fini, j'ai répondu. Il a regardé, nous avons fini, j'ai répondu. As a reminder, I want you to repeat this to yourself. The passé composé, le passé composé is a compound tense. It has two parts, the avoir pas and the past participle. The passé composé is a compound tense. It has two parts, the avoir part and the past participle. Okay? So repeat that to yourself and don't ever forget that rule. So the part of the avoir is what is in purple, and the past participle is what is in yellow. Okay? Now that you know the present tense of avoir and how to form the past participle, test yourself with the following sentences. All right. I have je and then the verb travailler. Travailler. The verb travailler. If you remember, travailler veut dire to work. Travailler veut dire to work. And I have je. So at this point, you need to have your chart, your avoir chart. You need to have it in front of you, or you need to remember how avoir is conjugated in present tense. We need to know that j'ai, tu as, il a, elle a, nous avons, vous avez, ils ont. J'ai, tu as, il a, elle a, nous avons, vous avez, ils ont. Donc, we have j'ai apostrophe je, we've travaillé. So how does it work? Okay, so how can we change this sentence into passé composé? So are we going to say Jean, j'ai, j'avais, j'avons? How about the past participle? Should we say travaillu, travaillé, or travailli? Okay, let's think about it for 1 second. Yes, those who got it right is j'ai travaillé, of course. J'ai travaillé, of course. Okay, another one. Nous avons il with regarder. Regarder, to see or to watch. Okay, to see or to watch. And we are supposed to conjugate it in passé composé. Okay. Again, I have my choices. Are we going to say ils ont, il est, il a, il avait, or il a, or il avons? And for the past participle part, are we going to say regardu, regardi, ou regardez? So which one should we have here? Okay, good job, bravo for those who got it right. Il a regardé. Il a regardé will be our conjugation today. Okay, and then I have the verb finir, le verbe finir, to finish, le verbe finir, to finish. And my choices are on, est, a, avait, a, avant for the avoir pas. And for the past participle, I have fini, fini, fini. Okay, 15 seconds to think. Okay, and those who got avant and those who have avant and fini got it right. Nous avons fini. Nous avons fini. Simple, right? Okay. Let's look at more. We have now jouer. Le verbe jouer, to play. Il. Okay. What are my choices? On, est, a, avait, a, avant. Okay. And the past participle jouer, jouer, jouer. Okay. What do we have here? Think about it. If you thought on, ils ont, you are right. If you thought jouer, you are right too. Ils ont joué. Ils ont joué will be my conjugation. Now I have maman. Maman and I have répondre. Okay. On the chart, we just saw subject pronoun. Le pronom personnel sujet. Je, tu, il, elle, nous, vous, il. Okay. We just saw those subject pronouns. Now we have maman. So what subject pronoun are you thinking of if you see mama? Okay. of course, you're not supposed to replace it. You just think about it, and you replace it in your head, that we say. So maman, of course, is the third person of singular, so it can be replaced by elle, okay? Donc maman, and I have répondre, and I'm supposed to conjugate that verb in passé composé, okay? So my choices for the avoir part are these: on, est, a, avait, a, avant, okay? And then I have répondu, répondit, and répondez. Which one should I choose? Mama blank, blah, blah, blah. Mama blank, blah, blah, blah. So think about it for 10 seconds, 10 secondes pour y penser. Bien sûr, Mama a, if you thought a, you are perfectly right. Mama a, and the past participle will be répondu. Mama a répondu, okay? Vous, and I have the verb choisir, okay? To choose, okay? All right, my choices for the avoir are the same. And my past participle are choisi, choisi, and choisi. Which one do you think can work here? Let's take 5 seconds now to think. If you thought avait, you are right. If you thought choisi, you are right as well. Vous avez choisi. All right, Christina et moi, and we have the verb chanter, to sing. Christina et moi. Think about it. When it's in English, Christina and I will be what? Christina and I will be what? That's what you're going to think of when you are choosing the form of the verb that goes with the past, the subject pronoun you know. Okay? So what form of avoir can go with Christina et moi? So what subject pronoun can you replace Christina et moi by? Think about it. And then we have the verb chanter, to sing. And my choices for my avoir are there. The choices that go with Christina et moi, we're going to choose one choice. Okay? And then those are my past participle for the verb chanter, chantu, chantier, and chanter. Okay? Look at it. Okay, of course, Christina et moi is Christina and I, which means we, okay? We, which means, which is translated in French by nous. So it will be nous avons. You don't need to replace Christina et moi. You just have to conjugate the avoir the right way with that subject. It's just like in English. If you were to just make a sentence trying to find the right conjugation of the verb, the right form of the verb that fit with your subject pronoun, you will not have to replace the subject with the subject pronoun, okay? So Christina et moi avons, and the choice of chanter, the past participle, if you thought chanter, you are perfectly right. And then Reto et Marc, and I have the verb écouter. Reto et Marc, and I have the verb écouter. Écouter, to listen. Okay, écouter, my choices for avoir are the same, and the past participle are écouter, écoutier, écouter. Which one should we choose? And think about it also. What is the form of avoir that can go with Reto et Marc? Okay, of course, Reto et Marc is they. Okay, they, ils, ils ont. Okay, ils ont écouté. They listen. And I did not mention that at this point, the accent aigu is so important. So at this point of your French studies, you cannot ignore the accent aigu or any accent mark on top of any word or verb in French. So if you don't write the accent aigu at the end of écouter, for example, it won't be the past participle anymore, and now we read it écoute, écoute, not écouter. So at this point, we had to understand that the accent mark on top of letters are very, very extremely important. Okay. Tu, and I have parler, parler, to talk, to speak, to talk, to speak. And I have my choices. Those are my choices. Tu as, of course, with S at the end. Tu as parlé. Okay, more practice. We are almost finished. And I have the verb entendre, entendre. Entendre is most of the time synonym of écouter, to listen or to hear. So, entendre, okay, my choices of avoir, and my choices of past participle, entendu, entendu, and attendez. Okay, so think about it for 30 seconds. Elle a entendu. Elle a entendu. Elle a entendu. Okay, that was the end of our introduction lesson on le passé composé. And here we just talk about regular verbs, the verb which follow a pattern, which follow a rule. And we are going to continue with some practices, I will say practices, with the passé composé with regular verbs, okay? And then after our practice, if we are comfortable enough, we will move on and we will look at some verbs that are irregular, some verbs whose past participles are irregular. Thank you so much for paying attention. Au revoir.